Yo, what up, family? It is your boy John. How y'all doing? I hope y'all having a wonderful evening, night, day, regardless of where you're from, tuning in from. Today we're gonna go over a little bit of easy, basic market, market movement. So basics, Forex basics, I guess you would call it. You can use this for any type of chart. So we're pretty much gonna go over a little bit of higher lows, lower highs, structure, so support and resistance. Then we're gonna go over a little bit of understanding trends, when trends reverse, when trends won't reverse, when you think a trend will reverse, and getting caught up in just different things. So, okay. So we're gonna start off with basic movement of the market. Normally we have a 5 wave increment of a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And normally, so this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this will be a bullish trend here. Okay. And then what we would have is probably something like this, where we had a higher low, second, and then we had an equal high, and then the market might want to reverse trend here. So now we're going to create a lower low, because now this low here is going to be lower than this previous low. So now we have a lower low, we have a lower high, and we have a lower low, lower high, and then we'll have a lower low. Okay. And then now this here, since it reverses here, so this is pretty much called a neckline, meaning that this is the previous floor. We'll go over this right now. This becomes a bearish trend here. Okay, so you guys understand this pretty easily. So the reason why I say this is a neckline, we'll move these a little bit around so that it looks better here. Give me a second to read this. All right. I feel like what's the name? All right, all right. Oh, sorry guys. But yeah, let me move these around real quick and then we'll get into it. So technically this is the neckline here. Okay, so the neckline, meaning that this is pretty much the last support. So let's say that like anyone that's ever been a flight of stairs or a two-story house or whatever it may be. So let's consider this. Let me take this away real quick. Let's just do basic lines. Okay, so these lines as support resistance. So guys, I gotta get these all lined up, but nice. That one looks good. That one looks good. That one's good. All right. So now let's finish this off. All right. All right. So come on. Anyways, I'll still got it on the one. Sorry, guys. All right. Here we go. All right. So pretty much we're gonna go through. Oh, sorry, guys. Having a little bit of trouble with this mouse. It's messing up here. All right. So pretty much, if you think about it as, let me get rid of this here. So the blue lines, think about it as the floors. Okay. So let's say that we're on. Sorry, I'm just getting this nicer here. Let's say we're on the first floor here, and then we have a momentum to jump through the ceiling. So we're gonna jump through the first floor, and then we're gonna hit the second floor ceiling, and then we're not gonna have momentum to jump through 2 floors for this system, and then we're gonna have to come back down to the second floor. Then we're gonna make an attempt to jump through the third floor, in which we're able to now to come to the fourth floor, and now the third floor is now the floor rather than the ceiling here. And then we're gonna jump through the fourth floor to the fifth floor. But let's say that we no longer, the buyers no longer have the momentum to continue to jump up here through maybe to possibly another sixth floor here. So we create a rejection point to where now the momentum no longer maybe have the bullish trend, but the sellers come into the market where they're going to push down through the fourth floor, the fifth floor, no, the fourth floor onto the third floor. Okay, so now we're going the opposite way in the trend. So now we're going through. Now we're attempting to jump back up bullish, but we don't have the support still from the bulls. We're still in the bearish aspect. So now we're gonna have the fall through the floor again. So we're now on the second floor. So we'll make the attempt to come back to the third floor and then come back to ultimately the bottom floor here. So that's just a little bit of support and resistance. Support meaning the floors, resistance meaning the ceiling. This is called structure overall. Now, this is where the market can get a little bit, you have to be able to pay attention to what it's doing. Now, even though we're coming here and we're breaking lower here, the market can still continue in a bullish aspect because technically, one second, guys. Technically, oops, technically this here is the last low for this low, even though it broke this low, this is technically still the low of this. And the same thing here, if this was the break here, this is still technically the lower than here. So at any point within this, the market can, continue to do the opposite or the original trend, okay? This is something you have to watch out for because instead of breaking down here, we can go up like this, and then we can continue the bullish trend here, okay? Same thing for this aspect. Let's say that we're coming, say we're coming down here. That's kind of ugly, but let's say we're doing this and then we came here, and then the market could do the same thing here where it continues the bearish trend here. So we have a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. Technically now this can change, but since this here is still the top of rejection, so the floor, it can actually turn the other way. So we're now, this is a lower low, lower high, lower low. I hope that's not too confusing, but it's definitely something that happens quite often. I used to get caught up, and I'll give you guys an example here in a minute. Let me delete all this, okay? So I hope you guys understand that pretty simply. I actually don't like this chart, so let me get a chart that it's kind of, I guess I would say I would enjoy it a little bit better as far as, one second, see a pretty spread out chart here. Let's just do some Bitcoin, why not? Okay, so we're gonna go over this. We're gonna go on a lower time frame, okay? So what I was talking about right now is something simple like this. So we'll use this area right here. We'll use this one here, okay? So technically what we're doing here is, so higher high, higher low, 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 failed equal high. So this high is not as equal as this one. Then we have the lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we have the higher high. But technically this is the higher high until this point, because technically this here is still higher than the overall, okay? So don't get confused, because the market definitely will try to confuse you. But like I was just saying right now we have a higher low, and then we have a equal high. So this is that equal high here. So where now we have the lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is what, it's just continuous. And that's what I want you guys to see, is that the market does this all the time, but it's just about understanding simply where it's going. So then, like, if we want to do support resistance, we can do here. 1 second, let's do this. Okay. Let me just mark these up real quick, family, so we can kind of have an idea of where we're moving to. Okay, so it's crazy too, because every support and resistance over here will equal a support and resistance over here. So for an example, higher high, oops. Okay, so higher high, higher low, break through the ceiling, higher high, never comes back to this area here. So we have a higher low here, then we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and all these bounce off as supports, resistance, higher high, higher low. So you guys can kind of see how these run into the same areas of support and resistance. Same here, we break through. We don't come back up immediately, but we come down here. Then we have this one that ultimately plays off of this. So this previous here, uh, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we just kind of move consolidation through here. And then we break through here, the ceiling, higher high, higher low, higher high. So you guys can kind of just see, it kind of looks like a lot on the structure point, but you'll see, you know, what's moving. This is something I want to talk about. This here is a common thing I used to get caught up with pretty often. So like this. And then we would, one second. Something like this. We'd go higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high. So this here, technically most people think like, okay, now it's a bearish trend here, but technically this is, so the market will continue up. So this is something that I used to get caught in a lot, thinking that, okay, let me sell here because now we're, you know, breaking lower, but technically we never broke here. So this is kind of that same aspect right here. You might think that now it's a bearish trend, but you can see how immediately off of this, it bounces back up this way. It's kind of hard to see with that. I apologize. Let me change the color. So now we can see how it, oops, how this actually does this, which is what I'm talking about here. It's a different formation, but you can definitely just see how it moves like that to where it tricks you. Okay, that's something big that I used to really get caught up in a lot. So yeah, so this ultimately overall is a bullish trend, but it looks like it becomes bearish here, but it doesn't. Continues the bullishness here. Yeah, so you know, trends work wonderful for beginning traders, just to identify where you're going. Sometimes, you know, something else you got to remember is on the higher time frame, this might be the bullish trend, but if I come to the 30-minute, it's going to look a lot different, and it's going to be a little bit harder, not necessarily to trade, but you can definitely get caught up. You can get caught up trying to do something else that is not yet ready to do. So for an example, this here is a higher high. One second, higher low, higher high, and this is a lower low because this is lower than this one here. And then most people probably thought, okay, now let me sell this here to come down this way, which is a possibility. But you got to remember on the higher time frame that this is a bullish trend. So trying to trade the bearish trend on the low time frame is a little bit sketchy, a little bit harder to do. You definitely have to learn how to read price in order to do that. I will actually put a link in the description here. I have a price action video. That way you guys kind of get a little bit idea of what I'm speaking upon there. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of higher lows, lower highs, some structures. I will be doing a video on patterns. So as far as like flag patterns, I actually do have a video on patterns. I just haven't yet to release it. So you guys have a wonderful, beautiful, wonderful, beautiful, 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 blessed evening, especially if you have loved ones. Take some time out there, give them some love, tell them you love them, and much love and respect. Peace.